In the far north, where the world ends in white, an old man named Mikhail lived alone. His cabin stood at the edge of the Arctic, small, stubborn, silent. That morning, something was different. He stepped outside as he had every morning before. The air bit. The ice stretched forever. Far across the water, a polar bear cub, alone on a drifting floe, moving away. He saw it. Too young to swim, too far to reach. Running out of ice, he turned and ran. Not the run of a young man, but the run of someone who knows exactly what losing looks like. He ran back across the ice, the rope heavy on his shoulder, the gap already wider than before. He stopped at the edge, measured the distance with his eyes, took one breath. The rope flew and caught. The cub held it in its teeth. Michael pulled, slow, steady. Inside, he wrapped it in everything warm. He rubbed warmth back into the small body. He boiled water. He held the bowl close and waited. Then he offered food, small pieces, flat on his open palm. That night he sat beside it and counted every breath. He woke to find the blanket empty. His heart stopped. A cold nose found his finger and held it. In 40 years, nothing had felt more like grace. The cub explored the cabin. Mikhail watched and said nothing. He was smiling. They walked outside together. The cub ran ahead, then looked back. Ran again. Looked back again. On the fourth day, he sat down at the radio and said what needed to be said. That evening, they sat together on a fallen log and looked out across the ice. In silence, the helicopter came from the south, a dark shape against the white sky, growing louder with every second. 3 people stepped onto the ice, careful, professional, kind. Michael trusted them. He had to. They examined the cub with quiet, practiced hands. The bear allowed it. Michael fed it one last time. From his palm, the same as the first time. The cub ate without fear. Then came the crate, lined with his own blanket, his smell, for comfort. The cub walked in and looked back once. Through the small window of the crate, 2 dark eyes watched him. He looked back without flinching. The helicopter rose. He stood in the white wind and watched it go. It grew small very quickly, the way important things do. He watched until there was nothing to watch. Then he stood a little longer still. He went inside. He washed the bowl. He folded the blanket and put it on the shelf. The room was as it had been before, and yet not. He sat in his chair and opened his book. But his eyes kept returning to the empty space beside the stove where the bear had slept. Night settled over the cabin. The Arctic outside was indifferent and beautiful, as it had always been. Seasons passed. Winter deepened, then slowly relented. The cabin stood through all of it. Quiet, waiting, unchanged. Then a letter arrived with the supply drop. He read it 3 times before he trusted what it said. The cub had survived. Released, strong and healthy, into the pack ice far to the north. They had named it after him. He held the map in both hands. A small dot moving slowly north, labeled Mikhail 1. Somewhere out there, a bear with his name was walking the ice. He pinned the map to the wall beside the window. One morning he looked out the window and the ice was empty, as it always was. Then he looked again. It was not empty. A large white bear stood on the shelf, 50 meters away, facing the cabin. Mikhail opened the door and took one step forward. They looked at each other across the ice for a long time. Neither moved. Neither needed to. Then the bear looked at him one final time. The way you look at someone, you will not forget. And it turned and ran north, into the white, into the life that had always been waiting. Mikhail raised his hand. The Arctic was silent and full.